Welcome to South Florida saltwater fishing. I'm Heath, and it's time to get into the bite. Dolphin in the boat. Woo! Double solo kingfish trip right there.
Let's do this. Let's do this.
That's mutton snapper right there, baby.
Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this.
All right, folks, it's early morning. We're rigging up and heading towards the inlet. We're gonna head offshore and dip some lines in the water. With any luck, we'll be bringing home food to the family. Before we get into this though, if you want to learn more about fishing, grow as an angler, or just see some great and exciting offshore fishing adventures, you can start by hitting the subscribe button. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that you won't miss a thing. All right, everybody, it looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. We'll see you out on the water. All right, folks, we've headed out of Boca this morning, headed just to the north, just to the south of Delray. We're gonna do a little bit of planer trolling for Wahoo today. It's that time of year. February, March, the Wahoo are strolling through in between the cold fronts and stuff. If you get a chance to get out and the conditions are right, that's when you gotta go for them. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna stay between 200 and 300 feet, making smooth S-shaped curves in and out of the reef's edge. We're gonna be trolling about 6 to 8 knots with the planer. Our planer trolling setup is gonna be a Penn International 30, spooled with 80-pound braid. And that is gonna be hooked onto my favorite planer, which is a number 6 planer. And that'll be tethered to 100 feet of 60-pound monofilament leader. And then the lure is gonna be a pink iridescent sea witch trailed by a pink, yellow, and white 4.5-inch trolling squid. That's gonna be tipped with a bonita strip. So this is gonna be my planer trolling lure for today. What I wanna do is I wanna show you how to hook a bonita strip onto just 2 5/0 hooks. You don't need wires or any sorts of stuff like that unless you're using a single hook. I like to use double hook, kind of expedites the process. What you wanna do is you always wanna send your hooks through the meat side of the bonita strip, not through the skin. So what we'll do is we're going to measure out our hooks. Our second hook is going to go through just the tip of the front of the strip. So we measure it out and we find out about where our second hook is going to fall. Right there. So I take my second hook and I drive it through and I plunge it through the skin. And then I will round out my first hook, my lead hook, and I will also send that through the skin. And that is how you hook a bonita strip up to your tandem 5/0 J-hook setup. Okay, so we're right about 200 feet. We're gonna toss the lure off, get on the way to flight control. You gotta be sure not to get all tangled up. Let your line out slowly, make sure you are in control of your fishing. Don't let the fishing control you. All right, so we're almost at the end of our leader. Down. Got that planer in hand. Gotta make it turn. Let out some line on the planer. Now, you gotta consider when you're letting out your planer line, you've got a 100-foot leader, so you don't need to let out 200 or 300 feet of main line. That's gonna put you way out there. There are other times when you do that, like if you're trolling 2 planers or you've got a shotgun line up on top or something. But I'm only gonna troll 1 planer line today, so we're gonna let out about 100 feet of main line, just enough so I can get the planer diving down properly and doing its thing. So we're trolling a planer and our main line is braid, which is the preferred method of planer troll. What you gotta do, you gotta remember that braid is sensitive. Any resistance from your lure can trip your planer while you're trying to get up to speed and get it set. So once you feel you've let out enough main line, you're gonna throttle back. You're gonna let out some more line until you feel your line going slack a little bit. That'll make sure that your planer is diving down. the nose is diving down and it's going to get set. Once you feel it set, maybe you let out a little bit more. You see some slack going that line, that means your planer's diving down. Now you don't want to wait too long, and you put your boat slow forward. You're going to make sure that your rod bends over, that your planer gets set. Once you see that rod bend over and make that parabolic bend like that, that means your planer is set, you're trolling, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing with your planer. If it doesn't set itself, let off the throttle, let out a little bit more line, make sure you get it set. That way you can have your planer diving and get into the bite the way it's supposed to work. Okay, so we're up and rolling. We got our planer set on the Penn International 30. Number 6 planer with pink iridescent sea witch and a pink trolling squid. We're heading towards 300 feet right now, doing in between 6 and 7 knots, which is optimal speed for planer trolling. When you're trolling, you gotta remember what you're doing. You are targeting fish that are actively hunting. You wanna make them chase your line down. You don't wanna troll so slow that you give fish time to come up and examine the bait and decide whether or not they think it's sketchy. You're enticing that impulse to feed. All right, so we're right at about 300 feet. We're gonna stay in this general vicinity. See if we can get into the bite. A tip for when you're trolling the deep ledge of the reef here off South Florida is you gotta understand what your GPS is telling you. You gotta know how to read it and use it to your advantage. And that means understanding contour lines. Those are the little lines that are drawn that show you the relief of the seabed. The further apart they're spread, the less of an incline the seabed is. The closer packed together they are, that means there's more of a steeper ledge. So that's what you'll want to be looking for, is those ledges, because that's where the fish are hiding and congregating and the predators are coming to feed on them. So you'll want to troll in and out of those ledges looking for the bite. There we got one on. There we go. Good fish. Oh! He's smoking it. He is really smoking the line here. Good fish, good fish, good fish. Oh yeah, he's taking off. Now I'm gonna let off on the drag so he can run if he wants to run. Good fish here. All right. Now I want to head out to sea, because I don't want to ring the dinner bell for the sharks. Again, I keep my boat in forward, keep that momentum. He just took a good run, which means he's got some big old holes in his mouth. I don't want to compromise any of that. Good fish. Got some shoulders behind me. Hooked him out in about 300 feet of water. And at this point I got my fish hooked. head towards land, you're ringing the dinner bell for the sharks. Trying to take off. Feeling the pressure, definitely. Check out my bigger gaffer, because he's feeling like he's got some meat to him the closer I get to the boat. Tries to put his shoulders against me, head back down. Oh, and there he goes. Trying to go down. There we go. Talking about Wahoo in the boat, baby. So when I'm talking about planer trolling for Wahoo, this is exactly what I mean. Look at that mammoth fish. He came over the side and almost bit me, but hey, man, I will take it. That is definitely a solid 40-pound Wahoo right there. It don't get no better than that. All right, folks, so I want to explain what happened today. I said, I know it's Wahoo season. They're migrating north this time of year. The conditions are right, perfect. Let's see if we can get one on the planer. Set out the planer in a wacky color, a yellow and pink and white color. Not necessarily matching the color temperature of the water, which is more bluish greenish, but Wahoo sometimes are tricky like that, where they go for the oddball out. We trolled for a little while, and next thing I know, the planer rod started zinging out. Full drag zinging out on a planer is indicative of Wahoo. Like I've always said, it only takes one fish to make that fishing trip epic. And in this case, that's exactly what happened. We went out, we had a targeted species, and we got the hookup. All right, folks, that about does it for this episode. I hope you had fun, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned a little bit about how to planer troll for Wahoo. Till next time, South Florida saltwater fishing, going wherever the cool wind takes us.